Welcome back to another edition of Let's Play WCCW 1983, also known as the only series that proves time travel is possible. Because we are back in the territory system in Dallas, Texas with world-class championship wrestling. And considering I've been sitting on doing this recording for most of the day because I couldn't decide how I wanted to do this recording will be a normal one, and next time you see the world-class name, it will be a very special edition of this series. So tune in for that next time, but this time, it's a normal episode of World-Class Championship Wrestling. We kick off the pre-show with Skandar Akbar's Missing Link going up against Dusty Wolf in the pre-show match tonight for two reasons. Number one, Dusty Wolf hasn't been used or hasn't been seen since either February or the end of January, and Link hasn't been used since the beginning of the month. So either way, both guys needed to get out there and both guys needed to compete, but unfortunately, the show was a little full, and they couldn't get on it this time around. But either way, they got on the pre-show rather than the actual show. Speaking of the actual show, I want to say for the first time, but I'm not sure. Either way, for the first time, Dick Murdoch and the franchise, for the first time, Dick Murdoch competes in a match on world-class television, as his only other match, in my mind, was at the last big event against Bruiser Brody, and the rematch takes place later this month when Brody and Dick step into the ring once more. But either way, Dick Murdoch kicks off this episode with a win. And then we move to Gary Hart, who's joined in the ring by the Spoiler and Dick Murdoch, two of his clients. And Gary Hart first addresses Bruiser Brody. He says, "Bruiser, when I sold Kabuki's contract to his current employer, I reaped the benefits by being able to sign Dick Murdoch to my army. But you thought that once the real most dangerous man in this company left, that you would assume the name, the most dangerous man in world-class wrestling. Well, my friend, you were wrong. Because I have two men, the Spoiler and Dick Murdoch, that disagree with your decree. The Spoiler has been a dangerous man in and out of the ring for almost 30 years. And Dick Murdoch is ready to fill the shoes of the Spoiler once he chooses to not walk down that aisle anymore. But Bruiser, you are the last person in this company that should be claiming that, because there are a number of people ahead of you in that regard. Ask for El Hijo del Tejas. You got lucky in February. I opened up my black book, thumbed through it, and looked for some friends. and you got lucky. You got off easy. That won't happen this time. You still want to have my attention? You and your manager want to prove something at the behest of the Gary Hart Army? I'm one to oblige. Whether you regret it or not, it will be your mistake, messing with me. We move forward once again as Iceman Parsons faces Killer Tim Brooks, and Killer Tim Brooks unfortunately got disqualified once the long-time rival of Parsons, Missing Link, ran out and attacked Parsons, causing the DQ. If you remember 2 weeks ago, Iceman Parsons fought Link to a draw on World Class Television, and my reasoning was basically Parsons doesn't have anybody to compete against, so I thought, why not have him compete against a heel with a manager, other friends, etc. And that's where Missing Link came in, because Gary Hart's army is pretty much, full, and I mean, the Freebirds are wrapped up, so pretty much any halfway decent heel is wrapped up in a feud already. Well, Link may be old, but he still could go, so I figured why not give him a chance, see what happens. And thus far he hasn't disappointed, so, especially with the fact that Missing Link's match actually got better than Parsons' match against Killer Tim Brooks, and I say that because Link was versing an enhancement talent. And I just want to say this, Shane Douglas and I believe Spike Huber were local talents that don't work for me, but were on a one-night contract to come join me for one night only. Speaking of for one night only, I don't remember the last time I actually had the Birds. Actually, it was February. It was last month. The Birds join up together and team up in a 6-man tag team match, much the likes of last week's match with the Von Erich boys. But they defend the tag team titles against Spike Huber, Sean O'Reilly, and Barry Orton, and then get on the shtick, the house mic, remember, because I want their promos to stick out and be different than everybody else's. And that's when Michael Hayes looks out at the audience and says, Von Erichs, you think that you can outsmart us, you think you can out-wrestle us, you think you can win in a fight against us. Oh, damn. I know this is gonna disappoint not just you, but all those idiots that kiss the ground that you walk on. But when we're in the ring with you, one thing's for certain. You are not going to walk out. You're gonna have to be carried. Because we're gonna teach you boys a lesson. A lesson in what it's like to lose. And now the main event. Brody back in the ring for the first time since the first week in March, up against Bob Bradley in the main event, and King Kong Brody wins the main event with a 74 final rating. Now let's see what the final rating for the show was. A 69 final rating, and we increased our popularity. In 10 regions. Another good show for World Class, and another building block as we climb up the ladder to try and catch companies like Mid-Atlantic and Georgia and the WWF, who have already reached a cult level. Thus far this year, meaning that those companies have already started signing people to written contracts, much the likes of one of the Irwin brothers, and I believe also Kamala. I don't remember which company signed Kamala, but I am almost 100% sure somebody did. As far as Kabuki, I don't think it was an American company. I think it was Japan that signed him. I think it was all Japan that signed him to a written contract. Still, oh yeah, both the Japan companies are cults too. As far as that's concerned, that's why following this, the ending of this season, I am going to look to start back in January with the next territory in a new updated file with some of these problems fixed. Like where companies don't rise, like where 5 companies won't hit cult status in March. Or by March. So, I will be starting over once World Class is done, but as of right now, World Class still has a long time to go, so strap in and get ready for the roller coaster. But, as this is going to be a wild ride, but I want to know right now, what did you guys think of this show, and what do you think so far of this season? Let me know down in the comment section below, because as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time, later.